Yeah, so, okay, what makes, how did you describe Crip Mac, and, like, what made you think, like, this is, you know, there's a lot of crazy-ass rappers out there, a lot of crazy gang members, whatever. Why did you decide this was the guy that was worthy of the Channel 5 treatment?
Well, I just thought that he was, like, a great, like, person to interview. I think the 5 on the face, Channel 5, I don't know, I just thought he was, like, an interesting character because, you know, and if you watch our interview with him, like, we purposely strayed away from discussing any type of, like, gang politics, and that's probably the last interview of that kind we will do.
Really?
Yeah, just because I feel that, like, for example, right, when you cover a subject that relates to, like, anything about gang culture, you're basically making a bunch of people aware of it who shouldn't, because it's a sad thing, and there's not that many people that are actively involved, like, in violence, and it's kind of what DJ Academics did with War in Chiraq, where he basically turns a sad situation into, like, a true crime spectacle for millions of people to mythologize and look in from the outside. And before you know it, that in turn amplifies conflict in the streets because it just creates a YouTube algorithm that facilitates, like, all these offshoot bloggers who dedicate their time to, like, explaining these beefs that are sad and people shouldn't know about. So I felt that I'm happy that we did the interview with him, but that's why we took him to the Slipknot concert. That's why we went to Skid Row. Is like we didn't want to ask him, like, how do you feel about your enemies? What would you do if you saw them? And it's just, I don't know. It's a tough one.
He didn't want to ask him, you know, what would he do if he seen his enemies? He didn't want to ask him about his enemies. He basically telling Gallaghan 22, I don't want to ask him the shit that you asked him, because everything he just said, that's what Gallaghan 22 do. Yeah, Crip Mac, what about this beef? Who do you beef with? Who do your hood beef with? Like, King Yellow, what you gonna do if you see Tato? Or, yeah, like what you gonna do if you see woo, like shit like that. Like, he always do that shit, bro.
What's good with it, YouTube world? It's Coffee. Back at it with another one, man. Y'all hear that clip there, MILK74, reacting to this interview, man. Channel 5, Andrew, I believe that's his name, man. Comment, let me know what y'all think about the Channel 5 platform. Obviously, I was aware of them, you know, from the CMAC interview. And I have seen some other content from them, you know, from that platform, but I'm not like super up on everything they got shaking and moving over there. But Adam's like, yo, what's the deal? Like this CMAC interview, you know, as he sits down with him on No Jumper, and he's like, well, first off the rip, man, I mean, Channel 5, CMAC's popularity, the whole 5 thing, I mean, it was pretty much a no-brainer. Duh. Nah, I mean, he didn't really come at him like that. But what do y'all think about some of what he was saying there? And stay tuned at the end. There's another part that I want to kind of emphasize on. So, you know, when I close my commentary out, don't, you know, just break out. Stay tuned and take that in, soak that up as well. But Milk reacting to this, you know, as, you know, he really does not care for ADAM22 or the No Jumper platform. This we know for sure. But he's pointing out how Andrew from Channel 5, we'll just call him Channel 5 for the rest of this if y'all don't mind. No disrespect to him, but it's just easier for me and my breakdown, analyzation of all this. You know what I'm saying? He let it be known that when he interviewed CMAC, you know, he took him to the Slipknot show. He took him to Skid Row, and he tried to kind of shy away and stay away from the gang politics and in the hood dissing and things of that nature, as you know, he lays it out. I believe it's on the last clip that he ended up just being a Caucasian man from Seattle that don't really know ish about the hood, you know, having so much knowledge of different gangs and how people were killed and, you know, what gangs beefing with who and, you know, different things to that effect, because he was talking about he would go down 6-hour rabbit holes on YouTube of gang-ish content and stuff like that, you know, because he says algorithmically that's what ends up happening, and then you end up having different offshoot channels, you know, kind of come to the forefront, creating content about specific events and crimes and gang neighborhoods and stuff like that. And he's like, you just end up with all these individuals who really, you know, aren't from that life and know nothing about it and never would in their life for any reason. being really wrapped up in it and thinking they know Ish. And as I pointed out in other videos, you know what I'm saying? We got cats out here that get lost in the sauce and almost start to believe that they're a part of that and everything. And, you know, more or less Channel 5 just was like, he ain't feeling it. He, you know, wanted to get away from those interviews. And, you know, he basically was asking ADAM22 a lot of questions. Have you ever turned down particular interviews because, you know, you felt there was some wild ish going on that you didn't want to play a part in, or, you know, ethics or morality type vibes, you know, came into play and you were like, I don't want nothing to do with this. As Adam did say, he has turned down interviews. He also asked him if he had spoke with CMac and put any money on CMac's books. And Adam actually was like, nah, you know what? I've intended on doing that, but every time I think about it and I go to do it, it's a bit complicated, so I didn't, you know. And then Adam asked him, well, how much did you put down? And he said, yo, I put down that $1.50 on it. But you heard Channel 5, you know, bringing up the war in Chiraq and speaking about glorification via the media, via the blogosphere, and, you know, true crime, which we know true crime is like a huge market in a very popular sector of YouTube. And just outside of YouTube, like, people love true crime, you know. And then he was kind of saying this is almost like true crime in the hood or whatever, you know. And more or less Channel 5 just didn't feel comfortable interacting in that world, you know, via his YouTube platform and creating content. He ultimately, I'm talking about automatically, what the fuck, ultimately just wanted to stay away from it. And some of those questions he asked ADAM22, and I don't know, it kind of has you wondering, you know, in comments, y'all, for those who did watch that whole No Jumper interview, you did watch Milk's video, because as I always try to point out when I do these videos where we're tapping into certain clips and stuff like that, I always want to make it 100% clear. This is not the full video. This is not that content in whole. I'm not trying to spin something off it. By all means, go tap into those and take them in long form and bust it all down on your own. But, you know, Milk was just kind of pointing out and saying, yo, this dude's kind of calling ADAM22 out in a professional, non-aggressive way. And it did kind of feel like that. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he was trying to put ADAM22's back against the wall like, yo, you're a piece of ish. But it did feel like he was trying to, you know, make ADAM22 see things in a certain light. And I don't know, maybe like he feels ADAM22, and let me know if y'all believe this or not. You know, as we know, Milk does indeed believe ADAM22 was exploiting CMac and exploits other situations, you know, when it comes to gangs and different things of that nature. But it didn't seem like the Channel 5 dude was trying to directly say that, but he was trying to make ADAM22 ponder on that thought, you know, and not get lost in the sauce of making millions of dollars, and not for everything to become so routine, you know, and not forget the different individuals he's engaging with and what the reality of it all is. You know what I mean? We've talked on this channel numerous times about different worlds intersecting and overlapping. As I always point out, you got the hip hop world, you got the streets, you got the entertainment world, you got gang culture. There's just a lot of different situations at play in the blogosphere. You know what I'm saying? Ish gets crazy. But, you know, ADAM22 was pointing out more or less how supply and demand, you know, that he's interviewed certain individuals before. As we know, guys, controversy sells. It is what it is. You know, people are intrigued with the streets. People are intrigued with crime. But he was saying how he's interviewed certain individuals before that he thought were very dope artistically. And because, you know, there wasn't really any particular story behind that individual or a controversy behind that individual, or whatever they were doing didn't really have a trend and, you know, the algorithm gods or the blogosphere didn't deem that particular individual as the trendsetter to bring what they were doing at that point in time to the forefront as to be the innovator, the originator of whatever they were doing. It went to not really draw any attention or get any views or anything like that, you know. So more or less, ADAM22 just said, hey, you know, that he was trying to point out that he is aware of all what is going on in the reality of things, but you know, it's a business, I guess we could say. And FBG Cash was someone that Channel 5 pointed out as well, who ADAM22 interviewed, and we know not too long after went on to be killed, I believe. And Adam did indeed speak of, you know, Chicago gang culture versus LA gang culture, and how in Chicago, you know, those drill artists really kind of started bringing a lot of the street tales to the rap music, and, you know, where individuals were dissing each other on wax would really translate into real violence and ish in the streets. And then he went in, to speak on how in LA, artists that he interviews kind of seem to not speak about that kind of stuff on music, on wax, or nowadays I don't even know if it's on wax. I guess we could just say digitally, you know, that they're less likely to do it than the artists in Chicago. But it really is wild these days, you know, like this is something we've spoke on in numerous videos on this platform, and a lot of other people have as well, how the internet has changed the game, not just for hip hop, for a lot of different worlds, you know, as you know, individuals can build their own platform, you know, if they can break through in that algorithm, or, you know, just if people are checking for them or fucking with them or whatever. And I don't know, it's just kind of a wild situation, and I really want to know what you guys think about this. As always, you know, please hit the comments, tap in, let's talk. If you're new over here on J Coffee Talk, that's what we do. We coffee talk it up in the comments, you know what I'm saying? We talk about music, news, sports, and much more. But, you know, Milk just really was calling ADAM22 out on this. Again, we know they have a long-standing beef that doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. But he really seemed to be feeling what dude from Channel 5 was talking about. And he even kind of took it a step further by saying that he felt, as far as No Jumper goes, and ADAM22, or Gallaghan22, as Milk likes to call him, you know, as he, you know, is being referred to as the Gallaghan Slayer out here in the blogosphere. He felt that this originated with his interview on No Jumper, you know, that Adam saw the kind of content Milk was doing with the reactions and, you know, the streets of LA, and how it tied into the hip hop world and different stuff like that. And, you know, that he interviewed Milk. And as we know, one of Milk's big gripes with ADAM22 was he felt that Adam, you know, was specifically trying to bring on people directly after Milk that Milk had issues with Pino, with C-Mac, you know what I mean? And then also Milk felt like, you know, individuals that he wanted to interview and he was trying to bring to the forefront with different rappers and stuff like that, ADAM22 immediately brought him on his platform as well. You know, so it just kind of, you know, felt like Milk was just calling ADAM22 the ultimate opportunist. And he, you know, seemed to convey that he felt Channel 5 was calling ADAM22 out for this once again, but in a chillaxed type of way. So once again, comment, let me know what you guys think about this. You know, I wanna have that discussion and debate with everyone out there, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're an internet nerd like me, you know what I mean, or you're just a fan of hip hop, or if you're really from that life, you're from the streets, or if you're just really someone just kind of getting in tune with all this ish going on in the blogosphere, let me know your thoughts below. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, we know the streets is something that is always going to have interest in it, true crime, etc. But what do you guys think, though, about Milk, what Milk was saying as far as ADAM22 really kind of took it to the next level with the gang culture after interviewing Milk? Like, real talk, has No Jumper kind of in a sense almost became like Gangland or whatever, you know what I mean, from different individuals who work for the No Jumper platform to the artists or cats in the street, you know, whether they're rappers or not, or artists or not, or whatever that he's brought on there. Like, do you guys think that the culture of No Jumper, what the platform entails, you know, as a whole has changed and trended into a direction, you know, heavily involving the streets and gangs, or what? You know what I mean? We just saw that situation jump off very recently with that whole Flacco controversy, and you know, there was a lot of different similar accusations and allegations against the No Jumper platform as a whole, and ADAM22, you know, kind of being discussed as well, you know. So tap in, let's talk about it. I know I said that like 5 times, but you know, I just can't express to y'all enough how much I want to hear from y'all in the comments, and you know, how that's the idea behind the J Coffee Talk platform. So let me bring this thing to a close, y'all. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Got this other clip to close it out with. It's coffee. I'm up out here. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned, guys. Again, daily content, music, news, sports, and more.
Like that happens, something people
Look at what happened in Chicago. I mean, it was.
you might be like really happy, jovial, and then I've also dealt with like the super like down in the dumps, kind of like low energy Crip Mac. I'm sure the fans see it at home too. But yeah, we definitely did like one episode where he was dissing other hoods and stuff.
Yeah, I just mean the general public is obsessed with gangs. Like the YouTube population is obsessed with knowing all this information about different rivalries and stuff. And like I said, creating a true crime thing for them to follow. And so I didn't feel like I wanted to like encourage or promote or grow that sort of online following. Because if you look at what happened in Chicago, I mean, just it was such a internet shitstorm. Like me in Seattle, just being a kid listening to this music, before you know I knew it, I was in a 6-hour YouTube hole, learning all this information about like the war in Chiraq. I know all of these, I don't even want to say them, I know so many different like names of gangs and names of people who have passed away. These are people that I have never met and would have never known about if it wasn't for like the music journalism true crime thing that emerged from like the music that blew up. So I feel like I had a responsibility to do that and then kind of step away from it. I know this platform's a bit different, but you know, it's a sad thing. And like if you think about why some of these gangs started, it is because of shit like segregation and redlining, and I feel like it validates a thing that is sad when you put someone in a gang on a platform and you make it seem like they're really doing something. You know, like, this is important. Like, it validates, like, a negative, destructive way of life. Because you're like, oh, yep, like, you are this. Like, you can get a big platform by coming on my show and talking about that. Yeah.
But it's like, you know, as a content creator, you kind of have to follow the incentives to a certain extent. And it's like when the people tell you that they want to hear about something, you know, it's like, because I've done many interviews in my day with people that I thought were doing something dope artistically or whatever, and it just goes nowhere because they have no, you know, there's nothing to really hang their hat on. There's nothing like really interesting bringing people into it. Then you could interview that same rapper 2 years later when there's some kind of conflict that happens, something people genuinely want to hear about, and people are all over it. You know, it's like it's tough to get away from the fact that the fans just want what they want.